What is up, YouTube? It is True, and we are back with an ORAS OU battle. Today, we will be featuring one of my favorite mons, Cradily. It ends up doing pretty well in this battle, as you'll see, and I'll just get right into the team preview. So I've got Cradily, Keldeo, Heatran as my Firewater Grass core, and I'm finishing off my defensive core with Tyranitar, Mew, and Skarmory. My opponent has Mamoswine, Garchomp, Tornadus T, Ferrothorn, Gardevoir, and Keldeo. So I feel like Cradley could potentially do pretty well against this kind of team. The main thing that threatens it, I would say, is Gardevoir, because it could pretty easily 2 KO it with Focus Blast, I would think, as well as Hyper Voice doing a ton of damage, even though I'm max special defense. The only way I'd be able to take those like relatively well would be in the sand, and even that's, I mean, Gardevoir is just a monster. Mega Gardevoir, of course. Things I could set up on potentially Ferrothorn, because the main thing it has to hit Cradley with is Gyro Ball, and Gyro Ball's base power will be lowered when I'm lowering my speed with Curse and then hiring up my defense. So I'll be able to take those pretty well, even if he's got some attack investment, which would be crazy. Probably not. Tornadus T seems like something else I could set up on. It shouldn't have much to hit me with. I mean, there's like superpower and stuff like that, but since I'm going to be setting up my defense and it's lowering down its attack, that's not going to do too much. Stuff like knockoff, U-turn, heat wave, hurricane. Hurricane kind of threatening just because it could confuse, but at the same time it has to hit. So not too worried about that. I mean, if he gets some crit confusions and stuff like that, could definitely lower down my chances of sweeping. So there's that. But I still think I could probably set up on it depending on how luck goes. And there's also Garchomp here. Something I could maybe set up on if it's defensive. Based on his team, I can't really tell whether it's offensive or defensive. I feel like either would fit. So if it's something like Sword Dance, Outrage or something like that, I definitely couldn't set up on that. Um, but if it's more of the common Garchomp that we see nowadays with like Rocky Helmet, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, whatever, I could set up on that as long as it didn't have Toxic. So I'd scout the Garchomp before deciding whether I wanted to set up on it or not, and the Mamoswine and Keldeo would be things I couldn't set up on, but if I got enough boost, I could probably take them on. Mamoswines is pretty threatening with Icicle Crash, and especially if it's like Adamant Life Orb, is going to do a ton with Icicle Crash. So if I don't have a lot of defense boosts, not going to be able to take that on too well. And Keldeo, water hits at neutral, it's weak against fighting, so Hydro Pump, Secret Sword hitting on both sides. You got to be pretty well set up and ready for that. Keldeo as well, especially if it was like Specs or even like Life Orb, Calm Mind. There's a lot of things, a lot of different sets that could really threaten a Cradily from a Kildeo's perspective. So, looking at his team, I'm kind of expecting him to lead Mamoswine, and I'm going to lead with my Keldeo because of that. So, we'll just get right into it. I lead Keldeo, and he ends up leading Keldeo, so that's pretty good for me. I can see what kind of Keldeo he is. Based on that damage, I know he's probably Scarfed, especially since he outsped me, so I'm pretty free to go into Mew since he's kind of inclined to go for the second Secret Sword to take me out, and eating that up pretty well. I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp as he goes into Gardevoir. Good play for him because, with Synchronize, he burns me. Any residual damage on Mew is always good. But it's also good for me because I wanted to get damage on this Gardevoir for my Cradily, so I don't really mind that. I'm going to go straight into Heatran, not expecting him to Focus Blast. And he just Hyper Voices, it does almost nothing. And here I'm free to Lava Plume. I Lava Plume thinking he might want to stay into Focus Blast just to get damage, weaken that thing even further. He goes into Garchomp and I get a crit. Pretty cool. Any residual on any extra damage on Garchomp is always good. He sets up the rocks as I go into Skarmory, and then he Fire Blast burns me. So I was a bit worried about Fire Blast, but I know he could take it. But with the burn, I definitely can't take that. So I'm forced out after getting off the defog, and I go into Keldeo. He predicts the Scald and goes into Ferrothorn. He knew I was Specs, so Scald made a lot of sense, and so good play for him. I'm just gonna go into Skarmory here to get off a last ditch defog or maybe a Roost. I decided to just defog here just to get rid of these hazards and take things from there. He goes into Tornadus T, and this isn't something I'm too worried about. I'm gonna go into Tyranitar, that way all my Rockmons gain that boost from the sand. I didn't want to go straight into Cradily for that reason. I wanted the sand boost first. He goes for superpower. I was more expecting the heat wave, but that's fine. I can just go into Cradily now that he's at -1 attack. Take that superpower pretty well. And the sand's up, so I'll be able to take his Hurricane or Heat Wave or anything else he has really. Like if he had HP Ice or something random like that. So I just go straight for the Curse, knowing that I could take any hit he goes for. He goes for Hurricane and he misses. He is basically betting on the confusion there because he's not going to do a lot in the sand at all. So I don't really feel bad for him missing because he's just betting on hacks to win basically. He does hit the hurricane there, only does 25%. As I said, it wasn't going to do much. So yeah, not really a play worth going for. And I'm at 81%, and he goes for taunt after the sand wears out. So pretty weird play. You should have gone for taunt earlier. Usually when you see a Cradily, you should like taunt it immediately. Anyways, he goes into Garchomp here as I go for the Stone Edge. Pretty cool. I'm just gonna go for Earthquake here, predicting the Dragon Tail because he seemed more defensive from the Fire Blast and everything. And he goes for the Dragon Tail and misses, which is kind of funny because I guess he didn't know I had Section Cup. So I'm just gonna stay in and set up again, and Section Cup makes it so he can't force me out. And I'm gonna go for Earthquake, predicting him to switch. He goes into Mamoswine, pretty good for me. I'm able to weaken that thing pretty good and get a 2-hit KO. He goes for Icicle Crash. He is Life Orb, does a lot, but I'm at +3 defense, so I'm able to take that. He goes into Keldeo. I know I can take any hit, so I just go for Recover. He goes for Hydro Pump, kind of a questionable play. I could see him going for like Scald Burns or something like that. A Hydro Pump, I mean, he's basically betting for a crit and also hitting, which, only has 80% accuracy, so kind of risky there. I wait until I get up to full to attack him, and he ends up missing the Hydro Pump that turn, so pretty unfortunate for him. He goes in to Tornadus again to try to hacks me, and he misses Hurricane. Kind of sad and ironic, especially since I ended up hitting a Stone Edge, so a lot of luck there. Don't really know what to say about that. He goes for the Hybrid Voice, only does 47%, a little bit less than I was expecting, but, pretty reasonable. And now he's just got Ferrothorn, so it's not much left he can do. He goes for Leech Seed on a Grass type, he ends up missing, and then he just forfeits. So, pretty fun battle, just showing off Cradily, Pokemon I enjoy using, one of my favorite Pokemon. It's not great, especially not No You, but it's just something I enjoy using. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like, subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you all for watching.